Hi everyone, welcome to my video. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here. I want to talk to you guys today about the step-by-step processes that you need to take to buy a property. So first, you need a property. I have a video detailing what you need to know, what you need to be able to answer before you decide which property you want to buy. I'll leave the link up here. And once you have that property that you've decided you want to purchase, you need to sign an offer to purchase. So this offer to purchase states this is the property you want, this is the amount that you want to pay for it, and then that goes to the seller and they need to accept that offer. Once you have an offer that's accepted, you take that offer to the bank or to whoever you are choosing to finance this purchase, and they, based off of that, they need to give you the financing that you need. More often than not, people use mortgage bonds to purchase their property. There are numerous ways that you can finance the purchase of a property. You can use cash, you can use a bond, or you can do a mixture of both in the form of providing a deposit and then the remaining amount being the bond amount. What is important to note though is in a lot, if not all, offers to purchase, the ability for you to get funding is a suspensive condition. So that means this contract is not in effect until you are able to prove that you have funding to buy this property. So if you do apply for a bond and you get rejected, then everything gets reset and there aren't any penalties that you have to pay as the buyer because you weren't able to get the funding that you needed. However, if you do get the funding that you need, but then somewhere down along the line you decide, no, actually, I'm changing my mind, I don't want this property anymore, then you most likely will have to face some consequences in the form of penalty payments. If it gets really serious, you may be sued because people's time has been allocated towards this and now it's going to result in nothing. When you do get that initial acceptance from the bank saying that they're willing to offer you a bond to buy your property, that will be the time when you're required to pay your deposit. And the deposit will be paid into an account that's owned by lawyers, and neither you or the seller has access to that money until the whole process of registering the bond and transferring the property is completed. Because at that point, that money doesn't belong to the seller yet. It's still your money, but it's been earmarked for a specific purpose. And so they need to protect that money so that you don't use it for something else. And then when time comes to pay, it's no longer there. So at this stage, the bank has given you an initial acceptance. This acceptance is based off of you providing them your bank account details, your income information, maybe if you have proof that this property is earning rent, they can include that in your affordability calculation. But up until this point, they've only decided that they want to give you this money based off of what you can afford. Now they need to decide, are they willing to give you this money to buy that specific property that you want to buy? So now they need to assess the property. They've finished assessing you. They need to assess the property. Is this property actually worth the amount that you're going to buy it for, or that you've offered to buy it for? Is it in good condition? Is it a legal building? Some buildings don't meet all the requirements that regulation has. So in that case, the bank wouldn't want to give you a bond, because if it comes a time where they need to claim that property to pay back their money, it will be difficult to sell because it's an illegal building. It doesn't meet all the requirements. Maybe it's not even safe for inhabitation. and they can't sell properties like that. So then the valuation gets done, and if the bank is happy, then they issue a guarantee saying, we are happy with the property, we are happy to fund the purchase of this property, and now the legal steps go into action. In this process, two sets of lawyers are appointed. There's one set of lawyers for the seller, and there's one set of lawyers for the bank. The set of lawyers from the seller, their responsibility is to transfer the property from the seller's name to your name. And the lawyers from the bank, their responsibility is to register the bond in your name, which will be attached to that property. But one important thing that you need to remember, and this is sometimes a hindrance to people purchasing property. It's the costs of all of this. All of the costs of this rely on the buyer. You have to pay for the seller's lawyers, you have to pay for the bank's lawyers, you have to pay the transfer duty, you have to pay the registration fee, and you need to pay the initiation fee. You have to pay all the taxes, you have to pay all the lawyers' fees. The only thing you don't need to pay is the rates that are still owing on the property before they get transferred. In one instance, when I've been in this process, it got delayed a long time because the sellers owed a lot of money to the city of Johannesburg. So they had to pay up that money first before it could be transferred, because it's not fair for me to inherit those costs when I did not incur them. I did not have control over that building when those costs were incurred. So that is the only responsibility that the seller has. So once the property is transferred in your name and once the bond is registered, then effectively the property is yours. And you will meet with either your real estate agent, or if you're buying directly from the seller, you'll meet with them to get your keys. I wanted this video to be the most simplistic version of what happens when you buy a property, and if everything goes according to plan and everything is according to what happens generally, how it's laid out. However, I do want to make a video for you guys detailing the difference between buying directly from a developer versus buying a previously owned property. I'll do that in my next video. But there are some intricacies at the different steps when you're not buying from a developer, and a lot of times it's easier to buy from a developer, but I'll explain that in my next video. But thank you for making it this far. Thank you for watching, and go prosper.